Today is about the worst day for the Second Amendment in at least a couple decades, maybe in some of your lifetime. Today, the ATF announced something that is going to make many of you, maybe most of the people watching this video, are going to become felons on May 13-ish, 2023, because of something that they just released, unless you take action right now. So please listen carefully to this video. There's a lot of great information out on YouTube from many great sources on the Second Amendment. Some of them are wrong. As an attorney myself, I think it's critical that you get this one straight. So I'm going to explain this from like you're a child to begin with, and then we're going to get more in depth. But please watch this one. This is an AR-15. Specifically, this is an AR rifle, meaning this has a barrel that's 16 inches or longer. This is in its stock configuration from the factory. Well, many years ago, people started creating something called a stabilizing brace. Originally, it was intended for people with disabilities, perhaps bad grip strength, wanting to shoot an AR pistol with a barrel shorter than 16 inches and needed help gripping it. So they made a device that's just kind of a single blade here that you could easily put against your arm, or that has Velcro to wrap around your arm to give stability there, right? Well, people used it for that purpose. Also, the device was legal. The ATF said it was legal countless times. They've allowed it for sale for years and had many statements on it. Well, today they decided, nah, let's take everybody who bought one and let's throw them in jail for 10 years with a $10,000 fine, because that is the criminal punishment for this. So what they said in this law, they just dropped, I started to print it. It's 300 pages long almost, and my printer ran out of ink. There's so much in this, and so I haven't been able to read through it. It's only a couple hours old, but I will give you what I have so far. So what they're saying in there is, if you were to take an AR pistol 1 inch shorter than this and put on one of those, jail. Just felony. Yeah, you should go to prison for sure. We'll let out all the drug dealers, no problem. But you, law-abiding citizen, yeah, you should go to jail. Now, some of you, and I talk to you, I'm sympathetic to you. Some guys get really mad at these kind of people. I'm sympathetic to you. There are a lot of gun owners out there who say, but man, there is a lot of crime, and I don't like it when I see these shootings, and could we make some of these gun laws that would actually stop some of these shootings? I'm sympathetic to you if you believe that. So let's talk to you first before you make a decision about this law. So I went to a source that was profoundly liberal, very biased against this whole issue, and they're the source for this stat. Okay, this is what they say, how often pistol-braced firearms are used in actual crime. So this is coming from National Library of Medicine, 2018, Coper et al. What they said is, assault weapons, you can already tell this is a very biased source, primarily assault-style rifles. So more than half of this stat is not the pistol brace issue, because they're already rifles. You can put a pistol brace on a rifle, just not on a pistol, is what they're saying, right? So more than half of this, it's wiping out. They account for between 2 and 12% of guns used in crime in general. Most estimates suggest it's less than 7. So most estimates say it's less than 7, and more than half of those don't apply to this. We are talking about maybe 2% of guns used in crime that the ATF is banning here. They made a specific statement that this isn't a ban. No, you just have to register it or destroy it or whatever, but it's not banned. No. So let's talk about who owns this. Millions of law-abiding citizens, by the liberals' own stats. It's mostly law-abiding citizens who have these, because there are well over 10 million of these in the United States legally sold, and yet it's accounting for a tiny fraction of crime. And so the ATF decides, who do we go after? Let's go after them. Why? Because it's never been about crime. It's always been about power. It's always been about power. I've never injured anyone. I don't think you could, if you could survey the world, I don't think anyone could say I've injured them or even dealt unfairly with them in a business practice. And who's the ATF trying to make a felon? Me. You. It's Farmer John who bought one at the local store to dispatch coyotes. It's sitting in his safe. He's not going to understand 300 pages of legal crap. Ruined my camera. He's not going to understand 300 pages of legal crap. And so what's going to happen when the local sheriff comes, says, aha, turns him into the ATF, that guy's going to prison for 10 years? What is happening to our country? It's ridiculous. Give me my notes back. So the ATF says you can do 6 things. One option more enticing than the next. 1. You can either take your pistol-braced short-barreled rifle, as they call it, and register it with the ATF within 120 days. That would give you until May 13-ish, 2023. And to do that, yeah, you're going to have to send pictures, you're going to have to send fingerprints, remove the short barrel and attach a 16-inch or longer rifle barrel. So you got to go buy a new barrel. That's the other option. Option number 3, permanently remove and dispose of the stabilizing brace. Option 4, permanently alter the stabilizing brace such that it cannot be attached and remove it from the firearm. Option 5, turn it in to your local ATF office. Or option 6, destroy the firearm. What do they want you to do? Turn it into the ATF or destroy the firearm. I believe that this law is profoundly illegal. I explained this to my 11-year-old, and my 11-year-old actually gave a pretty decent legal defense to this. I was like, what did I go to law school for? This kid knows his stuff. I mean, 8th grade civics can teach you that this isn't how the U.S. government works, that you can just decide somebody's a felon unless they take certain actions, that an administrative agency can create new criminal law, that an administrative agency, there's the rule of lenity, right? That if a criminal law is unclear in any way, we should need to sway things in the side of the defendant. Well, if the original statute was unclear in any way, now they're saying, we'll swing on the way of the government. There are so many issues. There's the major questions doctrine that says an administrative agency, if they're going to make a huge change in the law, this comes from West Virginia v. EPA, where they essentially are trying to switch everything to electric from gas, and the Supreme Court says, look, if you're making such a huge change in the economy, this has got to come from Congress and not an administrative agency. Hello, this needs to come from Congress and not an administrative agency. And plus, the Second Amendment, right? That probably this law wholesale about short-barreled rifled probably violates the Second Amendment. If you read through the Bruin decision, you've got to say, I don't understand how this could survive in a post-Bruin world, but it does. One last comment, be sure that you represent our community as the law-abiding side of this argument. Sometimes when really frustrating things happen like this, some people get a little hoo-ah in our community and say some incendiary things that I don't want to have any place on this channel. We are the law-abiding side of this argument, and we always want to maintain that. Right in that document, they cited this video from Military Arms Channel, TFB TV, Recoil TV, and Gun Talk Media, using that as evidence against us, which I don't agree with, and I don't think they had said anything wrong, though I haven't watched all those videos. But they're using our comments right here on YouTube. We're the law-abiding ones. We're the ones that will go about this in the right way. Please follow me on Twitter. Last time I talked about any kind of gun ban on YouTube, they censored that video, and Mr. Guns and Gear just got suspended. YouTube is trying its best. If you've been watching the Twitter files, you know that it's not big tech that's doing the censorship. It's big government who's forcing big tech to do the censorship. And so go follow me on Twitter. They're promising to add video really soon and to be a place for free speech. So I'm Backfire Jim on Twitter. I've never been like a tweeter person, but I feel like, man, anything we can do to maintain communications between law-abiding citizens who want change in our country, we need to do it. And so I want to support Twitter because of the changes they're making. Go follow me, Backfire Jim on Twitter. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you.